Castles of Burgundy. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over Castles of Burgundy and how it plays with 2 players. Now, Castles of Burgundy is a 2 to 4 player game where you'll be getting these tiles and putting them into your kingdom and expanding your zones to score victory points. And whoever has the most victory points at the end wins the game. So this game is played through 5 phases and 5 rounds per phase. So you get 25 chances to roll your dice. And this is kind of your action mechanic throughout your turn. You'll be using these dice with a few modifications if you have some extra workers to draft some pieces on the board and put them onto your play mat. You can use silver to buy some of the pieces in the middle, some end game scoring. You can use buildings to do certain actions on these sheets. Get animals just to get straight victory points. Take some extra turns if you build castles. Just various pieces that you can use your dice to get actions and from the middle board and place them on your player board. And like I said, by the end of the game, your goal is just to have the more victory points than your opponent. So let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So the components in this game, not too much to write home about. Everybody gets their own player mat, a lot of different tiles, and when you're drafting these tiles, you pick them out of a box or the bag and put them on the board randomly. The components are fine to this game. The rules, easy to learn. There's not too much to it. Really, there's more of you roll your dice and you do the certain action. You may have a question or two on what these certain buildings mean, but overall the rules are just pretty straightforward. We did print out these reference sheets which give like an all-in-one reference to a lot of to all the yellow tiles, the end game scoring or the scoring tiles, and then just a basic overview. But rules and references, easy to get to the table. Speaking of table size, this can definitely be played on a 3x3. We do have our stuff spread out a little bit, but this game doesn't take up a whole lot of table space. To get set up to the table, maybe 10 minutes. It's really, you start with pretty blank boards and you kind of fill them up as the game goes. So to pick this up off the shelf and start playing, it really is quick to get to the table. So let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay, fairly simple. First player is going to roll 3 dice with one just telling you where the goods are going to go, for the turn. The other 2 are really just going to be your action dice. And you have to determine, do I want to pick up something out here or do I want to place something that I've already picked up onto a numbered spot on your board? Or do you want to just spend 2 of your ore to get something out of the middle? Or do you want to use your dice to sell some goods? There's about 4 or 5 actions you can do with your dice. Now you are a little bit on luck versus strategy. You are a little bit pinned to what you roll. But that's why you can try to get extra workers. These workers let you add or subtract 1 from a die roll, and you can use multiple. So you can kind of stack them in at the end of the game when you really need that crucial roll. You can use some of your workers to get what you need. But it really is, maximizing what you can get and what you can get off the table, put on your board, and how you can score the most points. So this really is a big point salad game. There's different ways to score. There's the farm animals, there's the end game scoring, there's the buildings. When you fill up, certain sections of the board, you score points. There's just a whole lot of ways to score points in this game, but you're always going to be doing something which feels good. There are ways to maximize your points a little bit better, but overall, just kind of a big point salad game. Easy to get to the table and pretty easy to teach. And like I said, over 25 rounds essentially. There's 5 phases with 5 rounds apiece. You're just going to be rolling your dice, seeing what you get, and hopefully the opponent doesn't take one of the tiles that you really want. So you're always going to be doing something. Your dice never go to waste, which is always nice in the game. If you can't get anything, you can always get 2 workers, which on a future turn can let you modify some dice. So just a lot of actions to do in this game, and a pretty straightforward, pretty good game. So is this game good for two? And this game is interesting. I do enjoy it for two. Playtime takes us about 45 minutes or so, to an hour to complete one of these games. But it's a game we only want to play once or twice, and then we're like, okay, we've had our fill of Castles of Burgundy, but it's a good game. It's not one of those games we're going to say, oh, I really want to play this. Oh, I really should play this. It's not one of either of our favorite games that we play, but it is a good game. It's a good, getting into the board game hobby. This is one of those where you can play it a lot and really maximize some of your turns when you really can recognize the tiles coming out and some of the statistics you have. But like I said, I think it's a good game for two, but it isn't one of my favorite just because it isn't very deep. You do have a lot of choice with the dice, which I really do enjoy, but it really is a point salad kind of game where you are at the whim of some of the tiles coming out and the die rolls, and every game you're going to be doing kind of the same thing. There's not a whole lot of mixing it up in this game. There's not a whole lot of trying a different strategy unless you're trying to just get the farm animals. But there's only 6 farm animal spots on any given play mat. So there's no maximizing that. So at 2, you do get that kind of back and forth feel on who's going to win at the end of the game. But in the end of the game, it's still just a point salad. Try to get the most you can. And like I said, I don't think I'm speaking too harshly on it. It's just not my favorite game, but it's a good game. So this is what I would call just a classic, straightforward game. If you're teaching it to someone who doesn't want, the biggest depth in board games or the most choice, you just tell them, hey, you roll 2 dice. Here are the 4 or 5 actions you can do. You just match the die with the die on the board. You pick up the tile. Or you put the tile in place with the die face, and you go to the next turn. And it's very easy to explain, easy to get to the table. A good game for two, just not one of my favorite games. So that's what I think about Castles of Burgundy, and hope you guys enjoyed the review. And until next time.